Our last speaker in this group is Jefferson Keel, President of the National Council of American Indians.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Keel.
Committee members, thank you for allowing me this time to come and visit with you. My name is Jefferson Keel. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of the Chickasaw Nation, tribe of about 63,000 tribal members, and I'm currently serving as the President of the National Congress of American Indians. This is my third term as the President of NCAI, and I'm happy to be here. NCAI's requests are rooted in the treaties and agreements that our ancestors made with the United States government. However, a recent assessment from the U.S. Civil Rights Commission has found that federal funding for Native American programs across the government remains grossly inadequate to meet excuse me, the most basic needs of that the federal government is obligated to provide. Tribal leaders tribal leaders have known this for decades, and we urge Congress to fully fund the U.S. government's treaty and statutory obligations. NCAI thanks the members of this subcommittee who requested the update to a quiet crisis. The update found that in the past 15 years, in the past 15 years, efforts undertaken by the federal government have resulted in minor improvements and in some ways has lost ground. While Congress has dealt with the spending environment hampered by an austere fiscal policy, including sequestration and tight limits on discretionary accounts, the federal trust and treaty obligations were no less imperative. The fact that these solemn agreements that are funded in the federal budget have been subject to political impasses, including a recent 35-day government shutdown, highlights the need for solutions to protect vital governmental services from interruptions. The Indian Health Service and Bureau of Indian Affairs provide core governmental services for tribal nations, including hospitals, schools, law enforcement, child welfare programs, social services, and many more. For many tribal nations, most governmental services are funded by federal sources. In addition to our appropriations request, NCAI urges Congress to fund BIA and IHS through advance appropriations to protect tribal governments and citizens from future shutdowns, as well as cash flow problems that regularly occur at the start of the fiscal year. NCAI chose public safety and justice programs to focus on today because it's one of the most fundamental aspects of the federal government's trust responsibility. In 2018, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights found that there continues to be a systematic underfunding of tribal law enforcement and criminal justice systems, as well as structural barriers in the funding and operation of criminal justice systems in Indian country. Those undermine public safety. Tribal justice systems simply need the resources to put their tools to work so they can protect women, children, and families, address substance abuse, rehabilitate first-time offenders, and put serious criminals behind bars. The BIA submitted a report to Congress in 2017 estimating that to provide a minimum base level of service to all federally recognized tribes, $1 billion is needed for tribal law enforcement, $1 billion is needed for tribal courts, and $228 million is needed to adequately fund existing detention centers. Based on recent appropriation levels, BIA is generally funding tribal law enforcement at about 20% of estimated need, tribal detention at about 40% of need, and tribal courts at 3% of estimated need. NCAI requests a total of $83 million for tribal courts, including those in the Public Law 280 district jurisdictions. The BIA estimates that full funding for tribal courts would cost $1 billion. That's with a B for us. We're not even talking about thousands anymore. NCAA also recommends an increase to BIA law enforcement of $200 million for a total of $573 million. As further rationale for advance appropriations for BIA during the shutdown, Many law enforcement personnel were working without pay. It made for terrible morale, as you might imagine. We heard that just in that short amount of time, 6 officers resigned. They said they couldn't even afford the commute to work. And these people are very hard to replace, as you've heard from tribal leaders before me. These families couldn't handle the uncertainty. Officers on the beat reported an impression that there was an uptick in crime. They had 75 missing persons reports. They had to try to track these people down, but victim service specialists weren't there to help. More people would have been able to help cops on the ground.
Mr. Kill, your time is up. I'm going to let you finish your statement.
Well, that's fine.
Okay, good.
I'm good. Thank you very much for holding this.
Okay, thank you.